to the Kerrville Area Chamber of Commerce Meet the Member. I am Kristen Weaver, Interim President and CEO of the Kerrville Area Chamber of Commerce. Our wineries have such a huge presence in the Texas Hill Country. And today we are featuring Turtle Creek Olives and Vines in our Meet the Member. I would like to introduce Sue of Turtle Creek Olives and Vines. Hi, Sue. How are you today?
Good. Thank you.
Good. It looks like you may be out at the Grove.
I am. So I'm presently at Turtle Creek Olive Grove, which is where we actually grow our grapes for the winery. Wonderful. We have a satellite location downtown in a historic building, the old Masonic Lodge, 1890 Masonic Lodge, that's on a historic registry downtown 211 Earl Garrett. So yes. This property is 8 miles away, and this is where we actually grow the grapes.
Beautiful. How are they coming this year?
They were great. We had, we're a new winery, so we've only been around for several years. And our grapes, this is our first true harvest. We did harvest last year, but this year we harvested just a couple of weeks ago, 4.4 tons of Montepulciano grapes,
wow.
2.5 tons of Cabernet, and assorted Merlot, and a little bit of Viognier. So we're really excited. Next year, this time, we'll be bottling our first harvest.
Oh, how wonderful. Yay, that's exciting. That's awesome. I have been, of course, to your building downtown, and it is just exquisite. It's absolutely gorgeous inside. So any of you who have not been, you've got to go check it out. 211 Earl Garrett. It's just beautiful. Sue and her crew have done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I wanted to kind of talk about a couple of things with COVID. One of them was, how has, COVID-19 affected your business?
Oh my goodness. It was huge hit to our business because we're such a new winery and a new tasting room downtown. We really didn't have a wine club yet. We were just kind of starting to break even when COVID hit. We'd only been open since June 19th last year. And so when COVID hit, it was just when people really started to get to know us. We'd advertised enough where people understood where we were and what was happening. They didn't really get the connection between the two locations yet, but people were just starting to visit us on a really regular basis when that happened. And so before we were forced to close, we had already complied with the governor's orders when he initially said to socially distance. We immediately set up our tasting room 6 feet apart. We were using masks, gloves. We had signs all over our tasting room. And then we voluntarily closed on the 18th of March before the governor's orders, just because we weren't sure, where everything was headed. And so when we reopened 2 months later, and I must say we did apply for the PPP, and that did help. We employed all of our staff. We have about 10 staff total between the two properties. So we employed all our staff and included insurance for all of them for those 2 months. And then when we reopened for those short 3 weeks, we were starting to build back up again. Our people were starting to come in. We had reservation only. We had everybody stop at the door where we greeted them and seated them before. So we've always been more of a restaurant style winery tasting room because it's not a very big building and there's not room. It's not a bar at all. It's the kind of place where you would go in and sit down and have a charcuterie board and have a tasting and then a glass of wine maybe and take a bottle to go. Yeah. So when we did reopen, it was easy for us to pull all those components in to the program. And then when we reclosed three weeks later, we eventually, about a month later, had to let 2 of our very important staff members, we had to let 2 people go. It was very unfortunate indeed, but we've managed to maintain more staff. We're still only doing curbside and delivery from the downtown location. We've never really been open at the winery because we just didn't have enough to really have an outside tasting room or anything here. But we do have a vacation rental here and we do weddings. Yes. So we are working hard to reopen. I know there's some new orders that are allowing wineries to provide more food in there. And we've worked just this week. We had a big team meeting where we sat down and worked on our menu so that we can offer maybe up to 9 or 10 different small plates to increase our retail sales for the 51% rule.
Good. Great. That's great news. You know, we're always adapting. That's what we have to do. That's what industry we're referring to. So that's wonderful. Of course, you know, the Kerrville Area Chamber of Commerce, we want to see our businesses open, you know, in a safe way. It sounds like you all have been very, I mean, just on top of that, just paramount in that, made that a huge priority. So I commend you for doing so. I also wanted to let you know that the Kerrville Area Chamber of Commerce has been joining forces with our neighboring chambers and asking Governor Abbott to reopen Texas wineries immediately. I'd like to read you a copy of the letter that's going out. It's from the Kerrville Chamber, the Fredericksburg Chamber, and the Bernie Chamber. Okay. This is going to the Governor. Dear Governor Abbott, on behalf of the Fredericksburg Chamber of Commerce, Kerrville Area Chamber of Commerce, and Greater Bernie Chamber of Commerce, and our collective membership of over 2,700 businesses, we ask you to reopen all Texas wineries immediately. We greatly value your leadership throughout the COVID-19 pandemic and efforts to balance the critical need for both physical and emotional economic health for all Texans. While we understand your concern about the potential for the spread of syphilis and bar setting, Texas wineries operate under a completely different business model. They are an industry built around agriculture and education, not group alcohol consumption. Texas wineries are open during the day, and many have large outdoor areas that naturally lead to social distancing. They have installed additional environmental barriers and trained up their staff members to offer service as safe and manageable as any other businesses that are currently allowed to be in operation. As chambers of commerce, we also ask for you to consider the economic devastation of this industry with extended closure. Texas wine has become a major economic engine for the Texas Hill Country, and the closure of wineries has created significant downstream effects on other businesses that supply the industry or visitor traffic it generates. Texas wineries are not bars. They are vibrant agricultural operations. They are a vital tourism growth sector. They are a means of educating people about Texas's economic diversity and agility, but they cannot be these things behind closed doors. And Penny, the president and CEO of the Fredericksburg Chamber, myself, and Kimberly, the president and CEO of the Bernie Chamber, have all signed this letter. And we are all sending a copy of it to our state senators and state representatives, as well as Commissioner of Agriculture, Sid Miller. So I know that Senator Buckingham and Representative Murr have both already been champions for Texas wineries. Want to let them know that we're sending this to Governor Abbott and CCing Commissioner Sid Miller as well. So we're trying to do everything we can do as a chamber to help our members and to support the industry that that you so dearly love and that you put your heart and soul into. You know, it's great for the community, and we've got to get you all full-fledged open again. So is there anything you'd like to add today that you'd like to tell the public or our members that may be able to watch soon?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this letter. Thank you for sharing that with me. I think that that's hopefully going to, you know, help the governor realize that there's a difference between establishments out there. And, you know, as far as wineries go, I think I've heard that Texas supplies like $14 billion in revenue for the state of Texas. That's a lot of money to be, you know, preventing from operating. And there are so many people that understand and are so anxious to visit wineries in a way that, you know, the people are sitting at picnic tables and they're 6 feet apart and they're out in open air. And I know that our downtown location is not quite like that. It's very different, but it's also very structured in the sense, in the way that we're providing an experience. It's an educational experience for sure.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Well,
Thank
we are
you.
so honored that you're a member and that you're a part of our community. Love to visit with you. Love to see you. Thank you so much. You are a huge asset to our community. Thank you for taking some time to visit with us today.
Absolutely.